First thing we're gonna do, add oil to our pan. We're gonna let that heat up, let it get, medium-high heat. Okay guys, once your guys' oil heats up, we're gonna lower our stove because we don't want our garlic to burn. You're gonna add like 2 cloves of garlic. You're gonna add like half an onion. Well, not like half of an onion because I don't really like onion that much. So you're gonna add a little bit of onion. You're gonna add 1 pepper. And then another thing I need to show you guys. We're gonna add our pork. We cut it up in this white stuff. That's flour, and the reason why we added flour is that's gonna help us get our crust. Because we want this pork to brown up, and that's gonna help us brown it up faster. That's why we added our flour. It's gonna give the pork a nice crust. So I'm gonna brown up my meat, and then I'll be back in 1 minute to show you guys also what to do. Guys, this meat is gonna take forever to brown. So make sure your pan's on high so it can help you out a little bit, because I even added flour and it's still taking a long time. So make sure your pan is really hot, and once it's brown you're going to lower it. Okay. My meat is starting to get a little bit of color, and what you're going to want to do is once it gets a little bit cooked, you're going to add some water. Now I usually add chicken broth, but I didn't have chicken broth, so plain old water will do. Let me just add a little bit more water. You're going to add a little bit more water. You're going to add a little bit of garlic powder once you add your water. But not that much because we added real garlic too. White pepper. You could use black pepper, but I use white pepper. And then my favorite ingredient I like to add to everything I cook is a little bit of this, because I don't like... Don't add that much salt because this is pork. You don't want to over salt it. So just add a little bit. So once you add your water, you're going to let this steam. You're going to let this cook for about 2 hours because you want the meat tender. So put your top on and lower your heat to, just lower it. Okay guys, so once our meat cooked for 2 hours, after, it browned and we added water, that's what it basically should look like. We're going to leave all this oil and water, we're going to leave that in there because that's what's going to make our sauce. So once that's ready, but cooked for 2 hours, I kept checking on it every 10 minutes, stirring it, cooked with the top on. I added a little bit more water when it looked dry to me, but I set that aside. I coated my pan with oil. So I coated my pan with oil. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put our crushed garlic in there. Don't want this to burn. Hold up. Kind of hard to do with one hand. Hold up. Okay, so basically we got our crushed garlic because we're going to fry our tomato paste before we put it in there. We got some crushed red pepper. Due to health reasons, I'm not supposed to add this, but this food you have to add just a little bit. Sauce. So, once you add your crushed red pepper, let's add just a little bit more oil. Guys, when it comes to gypsy food, if there's no grease in it, then it ain't good. That's all I got to say. Just a little bit more oil. It's corn oil, so it's healthy. So once that crushed red pepper and garlic starts cooking, we're going to add our paste. So we added 2 cans of tomato paste, 2 small cans. This recipe, you're going to have to adjust it to how big of a pot you made. I just made a normal family size pot, but if you're making a big pot, you're going to have to add more tomato paste. So just fry it up. I'm going to babysit it. I'm going to fry it up with the garlic. I might just add just a little bit more crushed pepper. Now we're just going to let this fry. Once your tomato paste is done frying, you're going to add it to the meat. We just added it to our meat and stirred it around. Now at this point you're going to have to babysit it because it will get burned. It will get stuck to the bottom of the pot. And we're going to add half a can of tomato sauce. Yatima from stuttering. I cut peppers and my hand will not stop burning since 20 minutes, so it's a little hard to concentrate. We're going to let this simmer. We're going to let this simmer for about maybe 10 minutes, and then we're going to add a little water to thin it out. Let's add a little bit more tomato sauce. Now we're gonna let this simmer. We'll add some water once it cooks a little bit. Okay, once the sauce has been cooking, we'll add a little bit of water to thin it out. Now I like to add my water first before I add my spices. That way I don't gotta double season because the water will dilute it a little bit. You know, just a little bit more. That should be good. Now that our water is in, we're gonna start adding our spices. Add some garlic, white pepper. Now at this point, if you want, you could load it up with crushed red pepper, but since I can't do that, I'm not going to. I'd love to, but I can't. We're gonna add, we could add ground pepper though, we could add cayenne, because that's not seeds. So we could add some cayenne, healthy amount of it. Add a little bit of paprika. And secret ingredient that makes everything good, soy sauce. Just a little drizzle. And do not use the cheap shit. Get the real Kikkoman one. You have to get Kikkoman, don't get any other soy sauce. Because they taste weird, they have like a weird aftertaste. So get the brand new one. And whenever you're making stew, clean off one pepper, one whole pepper, and just put it under. You could use a yellow one, a green one. I got green, so I'm going to use green. So we're going to lower our stove and we're going to let this cook. But babysit it because you don't want your sauce to burn. My meat's starting to shred. I really don't want my meat to shred, but oh well, it's tender, I guess. So try not to shred your meat. Don't use a spoon, try to like shake the pot like that. At this point, once your sauce is cooked and you add your seasonings, you're gonna add a little bit of oil, just drizzle it. Not that much because you don't want it that greasy, but all the oil got absorbed when it was cooking, so you want a little bit of oil. You want it more greasy, add more, but they don't want it that greasy. Do you know I'm gonna stand and making a video? And I'm not gonna delete it either. Excuse Bambi, guys. Now you're gonna add your vegetables. We're doing zucchini and green beans. I usually like the red, not red, sorry about that. I like using green and yellow squash with mushrooms, but they wanted this. They wanted it this way, but this is a very versatile stew. You could add any vegetable you like, but I like it with squash and mushrooms. Yeah, this is just an old-fashioned stew that every gypsy should know how to make. But if you don't know how to make it, then I guess that's what I'm for. You can watch my video. And we're gonna let this cook more. And you know what? We're gonna have to add just a little bit more oil. It's not greasy enough. Just a little bit more, just a drizzle. And we're gonna let that cook down. I'll show you guys in a minute once it's done cooking.
Alexa's really good at washing it, right?
Okay, guys, this is basically how it should look. All that oil from the sides. That's how it should look. You gotta let the vegetables cook all the way though. My zucchini is still a little bit raw, so we're gonna leave that cook a little bit more, but that's all she wrote. This recipe, certain things you cook, there's no exact recipe. You gotta add certain seasonings. It's just by what you feel it needs. Like, if you want more crushed pepper, add more crushed pepper. If it needs more garlic, load it up more with garlic. If it needs more oil, add a little bit more oil. You just add more as you go. You taste it with a little piece of bread, and that's all I can tell you. But certain recipes like this, there's no exact measurements.